Hot 6 GSL Season 2 Final. Classic versus Sue.
All right.
Both players sharing the bottom.
Yep. A little bit closer to attack each other, I guess. We're in there is that watchtower on the center, which can be quite important. This means that probably Sue is going to expand upwards. Don't expect him to take that base on the left side of his main as his third base. That would be a fourth or a fifth, probably.
Welcome to the studio, guys.
Yeah, welcome. What's Apollo doing here?
Is that Apollo? Is that Apollo stunt double? Oh.
Oh, man. That has to do with the Kong curse right there. There's a drawing of yellow, and those beans are actually called Kong in Korean.
Yeah. We have the spawning pool started here.
Yeah, he's not messing around. He doesn't want to be cannon rushed.
Yeah, well, I think it's smart.
If you feel you're better, do it.
Yeah, if you think you can win in a long late game. And game number 1 was a little bit weird from Sue. He went to this like hyper aggressive style in the mid-late game. Even in, I guess, right when we got to the mid game. Oh, from California. Oh, kisses in StarCraft.
Tosis fight me in Hearthstone.
Let's go. Let's throw down.
Nerd, you're already a dead nerd. You don't want to mess with that Tosis at Hearthstone, man. God. He'll be sweating trying to make his moves. I'm like playing Paladin against him even. Easy tasteless.
There's some good Paladin decks on the internet now. You seen
I
that?
don't know if I agree with that.
I don't know.
I play Paladin all the time. But anyways.
Well, that's why it's not good, man.
Yeah.
We need to have a money match, man.
You and I?
Money matches, dude.
Do it.
Let's go. Let's throw
Sign
down.
me up, whatever price.
I'm fine, man. I'll take you down, Artosis.
Do it. Can't wait until I have to lend you money to pay rent. Wins Marvel. Awesome sign right there.
So funny.
You guys are great.
So we got the 3 hatches for Sue. Classic. We're going to have to wait for the cybernetic scores, we always say. See exactly what he's got in store for us.
Yeah. And this shows all of the SKT versus SKT matches from the past. Like here we see, I just saw, I think they just changed the sign, but Boxer, of course, played against Uv in a finals once in OSL. It was a very touching and awesome finals that Uv ended up winning. Uv now the head coach of SKT1.
I remember I first saw Uv play, OOV or whatever. I always called him I Love Uv, but
yeah, I Love Uv.
I remember seeing him play first time in Italy. Well, the first time we were ever overseas together, actually.
Yeah, that's right.
I was casting, you were a player.
Yeah, that was WCG World Finals. Very fun times. And Uv, an old bonjour of StarCraft.
Yeah, he was very good. Some of the best macro you could ever see. I mean, it was so phenomenal.
He was the greatest. He's my favorite pro gamer of all time by a trillion miles.
Really?
Yes, it's not even close. Like, just the way he played and saw the game was something so beautiful that I can't recreate.
He was one of the first, machine-like Terrans. Just complete.
He was the
factory
sloppiest Terran there ever was.
Because he had so much stuff.
Yeah, he just had more than everyone.
Yeah, he was outproducing people, which at the time was not what everybody was doing, believe it or not. There was actually this time in StarCraft early on when it was really a lot more about finesse. That's how people like Players Boxer were good.
Yeah.
And obviously finesse and strategy are important to this day, but there was a point in time where like there were players that would literally just get a few vultures in your base and actually kill pretty much everything, and then they would, they wouldn't have a bunch of expansions or anything, but they would have done so much damage that they could do whatever they wanted from there, where eventually, as time passed, we transitioned into what StarCraft is mostly known for now, which is this whole, the techniques to massing up and how to eke out more units and acquire more position on the map.
That's right. That's what it's really become, and Uv was definitely one of the big guys to help push that forward. So, good that he's the head coach of SKT. I do believe he's the actual head. Not 100%, but like 95% sure of that. But anyways, these two guys are very lucky to be taught by a guy like that. Now, we do have a Phoenix opening here. I haven't seen the Phoenix openings yet, but they're still very strong. Probably see this go into Colossus play right away. I would say he's going to go ahead, take a third base, and of course, you know, just kind of work on his composition throughout.
Yeah, here come the Phoenixes now. A nice pickup here on that drone.
A little bit sloppy there. He hit
the time warp.
Yeah, I've seen this more and more recently. It's really weird.
Well, I suppose it does just slow down income a little bit more.
Yeah.
I guess the mothership core can get away. It's not super common nowadays, as you were saying, but there is some utility to it. I think at this phase of the game, Zerg are not necessarily attacking the Protoss and trying to force out a Nexus cannon.
Based on what Sue's doing, yeah, like that. Before you actually need to use a spell on that, it's probably just going to be full again, to be honest. So, in a situation like that, that's the best usage of your 100 mana for sure, because it gains you some small edge, and as long as you don't need that mana, it's a good move. So, it's cool to see it in that situation. I do like what we just saw, Tasteless.
It's smart. It's another one of these next steps in StarCraft II, where it's like, here's another little trick to get just a little bit further ahead.
Yeah, moves like that are really important. He's taking that base, continuing his harassment. A little bit sloppy there, taking a few more hits on Phoenixes than he would like. But no big deal, as long as he keeps him alive. 10 workers killed, not bad.
Colossi now being pumped out along with that +1 attack upgrade. 1-1 here for the Zerg. And it looks like the third is not going to be contested whatsoever for Protoss, that is. Sue is just going to have to be hyper-vigilant about the Phoenixes orbiting around the edges of his base, trying to shave off drones here and there.
Yeah. Now he does take his fourth, finally. I felt like that was maybe just slightly later than I wanted to see from him, but I don't think it's going to make that big of a difference. You know, he is continuing to tech up. Is he going to play it like last game? Because he's already got Infestation Pit. He's keeping on these Zergling upgrades. Is he going to go right into Hive? I don't think so. Is he going to make Corruptors?
Well, he's got a lot of money in the bank right now, and we see 9 Corruptors, so yeah, he is. It's coming out right now. He might be trying to go for a really strong timing here to block out the Protoss air.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of to just make these Corruptors right now.
You know, he did see Classic stop at 5 Phoenixes, and it's usually pretty clear at this number if they're getting more, if they're stopping. You don't like make 5 and then hide Phoenixes, so he might decide that, well, if I have, for instance, these 11 Corruptors hatching here, I can shove him back. I have air control at. I know he's making a Colossus. If I get a timing set up here correctly, maybe I can hit him hard and actually push back the third. But as I'm saying, is he upgrading Swarm Hosts? Excuse me. Okay, so he's getting Swarm Hosts.
The thing is, if you're going to hit with a Corruptor-based timing against this type of composition, you're going to do it like true with a lot of Queens probably as well. And he didn't make that. So, like, he's got some Lings with some decent upgrades. He's got a lot of Corruptors. But I think the Corruptors, like, what he wants really bad with these is to randomly snipe a Colossus. If he can do that, then he's really happy. Now, look at this. Well, we actually have hallucinated Stalkers try to chase him away.
Not working, though. And he does get that one Colossus. Now, not without the cost of several Corruptors being killed.
Yeah.
I actually find this a bit questionable because...
Yeah,
he got that one... Colossus, but I mean, really, like, at what cost?
It costs him more in Corruptors than the Colossus counted, but Colossus increment out, so there is something to be said for that, especially when you're going for Swarm Hosts to sacrifice a little bit of extra economy to keep that Colossus count down. So, like, I see it both ways here. Was that good? Was that bad? It's actually really hard to, like, exactly quantify what that did, I think.
Well, yeah, because this game can still go a lot of different directions.
Yeah.
Also note with the Swarm Host, you know what he can do, Artos, is he can try to deny the Protoss from taking the most natural fourth base for him.
Yeah.
Which is something to keep in mind. Protoss could expand to the upper left, but that's a little bit harder to control.
Yeah, if he sends Lings up there, how do you really hold that?
Yeah, I don't think there's much you can do. Your most mobile stuff is your air, and that's not great against Lings.
No, and he's already got the +1 melee attack as well, don't forget. And like the Ling Swarm Host style is super mobile at killing off fringe bases. It's like actually a very good style for a big map like this.
Well, the Swarm Hosts are coming down now. Now remember, Swarm Host play is all about positioning. Same with the player trying to beat it. If he can just outmaneuver you, the Swarm Host can become useless. He might force field up here. There we go.
Yeah, but I mean, he's going to fight against these Locusts. There's going to be more before he knows it. Is he actually making his push? Because he's sacrificing units already. And if he wasn't going to make his push, probably should have turned around a little bit quicker, but he only lost a sentry, so it's not like a huge deal, just maybe a tiny misstep.
Okay, so he backs up now and regroups over here in between his third base and his would-be fourth. Protoss does. Su has got Locust Rally down now towards the would-be fourth. The top of the map a little bit open. You can see that Su does have a small group of Lings over here just to the right of where that probe was to attack into the fourth base at the upper left if he decides to take that there. And also keep in mind this bridge that Classic is going to be crossing here. This acts as a bit of a funnel, so if the Zerg could confront you right at the entrance to that bridge, it's pretty hard to get good surface area. Retreating
through there as well can be pretty tough.
Yeah.
Your units have to clump up and back out kind of awkwardly. Well, he looks like he wants to actually go through and break this fourth. This is some very aggressive play, but I think this is the type of style that Classic is best at and what he should be trying to do as well.
Okay, he's going to try to attack in here again with the Nexus being slowed down. That's exactly what Su needs. Su, again, on 4 bases to 3, and Su does have the option to expand to the upper right, so keep that in mind as well.
What do you think about this Corruptor count, 17 with the Greatest Spire in the way? Are we going to see him actually go into Broodlords as well?
I think he's going to try to get into an air engagement first, and then go for it.
If he can knock out the Void Rays, and then he goes Swarm Host Broodlord with a few Infestors in there, and a few Queens as well, that's ridiculously strong.
Okay, he's attacking it now, and it looks like we're going to have a nice fungal growth there on the group of that Phoenixes and Void Rays, but so far it seems like the Colossi just are too many, along with the Void Rays and the Stalkers now driving back these Corruptors.
Well, this Corruptor's actually doing a good job as more do end up rallying out. He does have some Infestors back there. I think they are out of energy, though, so it looks like he's not going to get any more help
This actually could be the tipping point here. If he can get an Observer over there. Does he have an Observer with his army?
He doesn't have an Observer.
He does not have an Observer.
If he did, this game could end right here. Okay, there he goes. I think he...
Oh, my God.
Wow, definitely a big
He's
misstep
actually
there.
only damaging the Swarm Hosts with the... with the Locust popping out on top.
Yeah,
it's a splash damage. Oh,
he killed a few like that.
Okay, I think he has another Observer coming over here. There's one that's parked down at the bottom, but he has no idea. He still might actually have enough here. Look at the supplies. It's still getting lower for the Zerg. He just needs to keep those... Oh.
Well, he's actually going to take out the last of the Colossus, but the thing is he lost a base. So...
Yeah, you know what? I think Classic would have won even easier had he actually gotten the Observer over there. But at this point in time, it doesn't matter. He got those Swarm Hosts, and this is really tough to recover from. I mean, this is really difficult.
Yeah, definitely a hurtful battle there for Su, to say the least.
Everybody's had one of those, too, where you're like, where is my Observer?
Yeah.
I cannot find it.
You know, I want to talk about the way that battle went as well, because he was targeting down specifically the Void Rays, because he had the Greater Spire tech, so it looked like he wanted to go into Broodlords. And if, after he lost the Void Rays, Classic turned around, it would have been fine for Su. Everything would have been good, because he could have gone into those Broodlords and it would have been really hard to stop. But now he's on 3 bases. This is a ridiculous army. Lost all his Swarm Hosts. I can't imagine Su coming back from this with 4 bases up for Protoss against 3, and the mobility that Classic possesses right now with a mostly Blinkstalker force. He's never going to catch him with the Swarm Hosts.
Well, to hit the reset button on the Swarm Host, I mean, think of how much opportunity Protoss has between here and when Zerg gets maxed out again. How many options does Classic have between now and then? I mean, so many.
He's never going to be able to hold on to a 4th base.
I know,
He'd have to put all of his effort into it, and then another base would die.
Yeah, I think even the direction Su's taking this from here is, he's playing from a disadvantage, and he's letting himself keep a disadvantage with the Swarm Hosts. Okay, this is smart too. The few Zealots up here. He wants to make sure that Zerg isn't expanding to the upper right, because if the Zerg isn't expanding to the upper right, then there's not much that Su can really do. Because there's really no way that Su's going to expand to the upper left without getting spotted.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, Su... The thing is, the way that Su is doing this actually is smart. To just go into Swarm Hosts.
Yeah.
If he just focuses on Swarm Hosts and Infestors and just puts all of his money into that, that's as cost efficient as you can get. So he's trying to go for maximum cost efficiency. If Su were to win this game, I think it would have to be 30 minutes longer. to be honest. Like,
and I think it would be a lot of mistakes coming from Classic if that's what happened.
Classic would have to misstep quite a bit. Like, he'd have to suicide an army. We'll see, though. I mean, if he does suicide in here, things could go his way. Ooh,
boy. Man. He's going to get a few volleys off onto those Swarm Hosts before the Locusts even come out. And more Colossi coming up here. I think that's going to be it. Drones now trying to long distance mine. Flicking on top. And that should be it. There is no way that Sue can win this game now as the remainder of his forces are being wiped out.
Well, that is going to be that. He's going to have to GG after losing this expensive of an army. He cannot replace this at all. Still on 3 bases. And that's it.
GG, that's it, man. Classic is now up 2-1 here. Taking the lead. Sue going for the Swarm Host play in that close proximity. Classic actually dealing with it head-on, pushing through the Locusts, and eventually getting to the source, the Swarm Hosts, and wiping them out.
He did a very good job with pushing through there correctly. Like, that is the type of composition that you see from Classic more often, and Sue just wasn't able to hold on. Now, the place of his 4th base, remember I was saying, definitely not going to be his 3rd base, maybe his 4th, maybe his 5th. Realistically, it should have probably been his 5th, that one. Your 4th base you have to keep alive. In fact, against Terran and against Protoss, in a macro game, it's all about keeping that 4th up and really getting your macro going. And he couldn't do that. His 4th was too close in proximity, and it was in a location where Classic is pushing down a hill, which makes it so much easier for Protoss. Makes it so much easier for anyone. So, a tough spot there that Sue kind of put himself into, choosing that as his additional base.
We're going to go to a short break. When we come back, we're going to go to game number 4 here between Sue and Classic.